You know, just 23 days before his 92nd birthday, my grandpa, Richard Edwin Crane, passed away. But before he died, he sent me a letter, his last letter, that outlined his top 10 magic moments. And in this letter, I discovered a pattern that seemed to me to be a guidebook to living in greatness every day. And I realized, isn't that what life is about? About living a great quality of life, a quest for greatness. You know, greatness is not this elusive, esoteric, godlike quality that only the special few among us will ever taste. It's something that truly exists inside of each and every one of us. My name is Trevor Crane, and I help people take their business and their lives to the next level. And inspired by my grandfather's letter, I decided that each week I would bring to you one episode of Greatness Quest, something you can use to unleash your greatness. 3 simple steps to unlock your best and help you become the best you were meant to be. So welcome to the first ever episode of Greatness Quest. And the best thing about greatness is it doesn't matter where you start. You know, I grew up the son of a horseshoer. My parents struggled to pay for the bills. They struggled giving us food for school lunch. I was embarrassed growing up because my mom made my clothes or she gave me hand-me-downs to wear. You know, and at school, I had to work harder than all the other kids just to get by. But I learned something powerful. You know, if it gets painful enough, you can become motivated to do anything. You know, and I don't care where you are right now. I don't know if you're at the bottom or if you're at the top, but there is always a next level. And it is my honor to share with you today the last present my grandfather ever gave me. In fact, I was so excited about it. On Christmas morning at 3 a.m., I couldn't sleep. I got up and I shared this with some friends on Facebook. And I'm not talking about excited about the sugar plums dancing in my head or reindeers' hoofbeats on the roof. I'm talking about I was excited on Christmas morning because I was imagining all my dreams coming true. I was thinking about all the people I get to work with now and in the future. And when I shared his message, it blew me away what people thought about it. So you might want to write something, get this down to write it. I'm going to give it to you quick. Lesson number 1 my grandfather gave me is do things you're passionate about. You know, my grandpa's favorite memories were always doing something he loved. He served in the Navy, he rode horses in the wilderness, playing polo, he hunted, he went fishing, you know, and I realized my memories had the same pattern, that my best memories were doing something that I loved. So it got me asking this question, and I'll ask you this now. How much of your time are you spending doing things you're passionate about? I don't know about you, but when I asked this question again, like it made me uncomfortable. And I knew that I needed to change that immediately. So lesson number 2, choose great people to hang out with. You know, not once in my grandpa's letter to me did he say he was hanging out with sucky people doing sucky things. He was always with people he loved, his friends, his family, his teammates. And as I read and reread his letter, it came to me, my best memories were similar. My favorite moments have always been hanging out with awesome people doing awesome things. So again, it got me asking myself, and I'll ask you now, how much of your time are you spending with awesome people? You know, one of my friends, favorite people on the planet, quite frankly, Tony Robbins, says, you become who you hang out with. And the first time I learned this or heard it and actually applied it in my life, I was 30 years old. And I knew that I was meant for great things, but I was hanging out with people that weren't doing great things. You know, they're addicted to a lot of unhealthy stuff, alcohol and drugs, and I made the decision that I needed to start hanging out with the most successful people I could find. In fact, the most important thing was I found new mentors and made new friends, and it changed my life. You know, I started having a richer quality of life. I made more money, and then I made a lot more money. So start hanging out with people who lift you up, who see greatness in you and pull it out of you. You owe it to yourself. So lesson number 3, presence is more important than presence. So in every magic moment my grandpa recounted, he was 100% in the moment. He wasn't whining about what was going on or wishing he was someplace else. He was alive in the moment. And you know, the last big trip he ever took in his life was to come to my wedding. You know, he spent the last money he had. He gave up the last trip he was ever going to take to the mountains of Wyoming. Was his dream to go back before he died where he had grown up. And he came to our wedding. Because he knew, he believed that the greatest gift he could give us would be his presence. Now I know The people in your life appreciate your presence. I know your kids do, your family, I know your friends, your clients, your spouse, that they appreciate your presence. And I also know for a fact that if you allow yourself to get distracted or pulled away by the stuff that your wife, your kids, your family, your friends all feel like you're shorted, like you robbed from them, stole from them, as if you don't care. And it sucks the awesome out of your time together. But you know what's great? Like after me, like reading and rereading my grandfather's letter, I was like, that's it. I changed things. You know, last year I started focusing on being more present with everyone, my family, my daughter, my wife, focusing more on my passions about hanging out with the coolest, most successful, awesome people I could find. I made it a goal to become friends with my mentors, to take my life from where it was, which was great, but take it to the next level. And not long after making that decision, my life began to change again. In fact, I got to hang out with Sir Richard Branson. I didn't go to him, he came up to me. He actually sat down next to me at the airport, like in the chair, and I was like, man, you picked a good seat. You know, and I know my grandpa didn't know that his letter would have the impact on me that it did, but it did. And I hope that since you took the time to watch this, it helps you as well. So I want to give you one more thing. You know, don't wait. You gotta start now. You know those friends I told you about that I used to hang out with? Well, today, 3 of those guys are gone. And I'm not talking on vacation, I mean dead. 2 were suicides. 1, a drunk driving accident. 3 guys who are like brothers to me are gone. Now I know I'm not special and that I'm not the only one that has experienced loss. I know you've had plenty of loss. I'm just saying, we only get one trip through this life. And it's important for you and me to go out and live out our dreams. You know, in the end, it isn't all the things we have that are important, but the lives that we've touched and the memories we've created along the way. I also know that you may have reasons or excuses about why you can't start now, but check this out. My grandpa's letter to me of almost 92 years, recapturing all of his favorite moments, half of those, over half, were made in the second half of his life. You hear me? Like my grandfather created those memories after he suffered a stroke that paralyzed the left side of his body. He couldn't use the left arm or his left leg. And he created those memories. He thrived. He didn't just survive, he thrived. That ornery old cuss thrived through World War II, thrived through a stroke, thrived smoking over a pack of cigarettes a day, drinking every day. I can't believe that. You know, and if he can survive, thrive, and keep his mind sharp as a whip through all that time, I know anything's possible. You know, he was flirting with girls till the day he died. But here's the deal. Don't wait. Start now. You know, a friend of mine did a Google search last night. We were talking about this, and he found 93 famous people who died in 2013. And I'm not just talking about Nelson Mandela. You know, not old people only, but young, healthy people had the rest of their lives in front of them. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your family and to the world to start now. So dedicate yourself every day to getting better, to making a difference. You know, I got a question for you. What would your life be like if it represented the idea that anything was possible? I'm going to say that again just in case you missed it. What would your life be like if it represented the idea that anything was possible? That you can and I can and people can do anything they want. Wouldn't it be amazing? Wouldn't it be a legacy worth leaving? Wouldn't that get you excited to get up, go out, and start your day? Of course it would. So here we go. This is Trevor Crane sending you out on your own greatness quest to become your best. And remember, as long as you are alive, you have the power to rise. So if you can look up, you can get up. So eyes up, chest up, step up, and go out and take your life to the next level. I'll see you next week.